It is 6 o'clock, and I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Florence City Council to order. Ask if you please stand for the prayer and the pledge. We pray for the wisdom to make decisions that are beneficial to the people represented here. Empower us to speak honestly, reflect wisely, and vote with integrity. We seek your guidance tonight. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Ms. Wingo?
Here.
Ms. Chambers?
Here.
Mr. Nguyen? Ms. Whalen?
Here.
Mr. Snyder?
Here.
Ms. Cable?
Here.
Vice Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. The flu is taking people out one at a time, and so we hope everybody here stays well, and we're doing a little bit of social distancing up here too. So, in your package, you did receive copies of the minutes from the special meeting on December the 16th. Are there any changes or corrections to those minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mr. Snyder?
Second.
Ms. Wingo? Questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on our agenda concerns some recognition for our Public Services Department and some of our crew here. So, Mr. Hall?
Thank you. So before I get into recognizing the individuals we're here to celebrate today, I want to tell you guys a little bit about the program itself. So there is a program, it's called the Kentucky Road Scholar and Road Master Program that is ran by the University of Kentucky Transportation Center. And what this does is it provides an opportunity for personnel to receive training in maintenance, management, leadership, being cost effectiveness, and things like that. And as of the end of 2025, over 3,800 participants have completed the program since its inception, which was in 1988. The City of Florence, we've been a part of that for as long as I can remember, and all 26 years that I've been with the city. So I'm not sure when that started here, but it's been going on for a while. The Road Scholar piece of it consists of 6 mandatory courses and 3 optional, which is 53 hours of training. And those required courses that the individuals have to take are basic work zone and flagger qualification, drainage, the key to roads that last, low-cost roadway safety improvements, risk management and tort liability, traffic management through signals, signs, and markings, and the last one is understanding the differences in people. And then there are 5 optional courses. You have to pick 3 of them. Those courses are asphalt paving best practices, communications 1, construction of concrete, handling harassment and violence in the workplace, and sign and post installation. We currently have 20 people within the department that have completed the Road Scholar program. Next is the Road Master, so this provides a more advanced level of technical information and builds upon the Road Scholar. And this is designed in a lot of ways for those that may be in leadership roles or supervisory roles, and that's an additional 42 hours of training. And the required courses are Communications 2, Developing Leadership Skills, Environmental Awareness, and they throw in their snow and ice removal. And then there are 5 optional courses in which they have to select 3, and that is the Americans with Disabilities Act, Sidewalk Facilities for Public Right-of-Ways, Basic Plan Reading, Horizontal Curve Alignment, Roadside/Vegetation Management, and Small Bridge Repair and Maintenance. So we have 18 individuals within the department that have their Road Masters, and the 3 that we're going to recognize today are being recognized for the Road Masters. So they have been through 16 courses, totaling 95 hours. So if I could get Jeremiah Rice, Tyler Orling, and Landon Rouse to come up front to be recognized for this certificate. appreciate all your guys' hard work on everything. I know you guys went to the dinner and received the award. A lot of hard work. I know it takes time away from your schedule, but we appreciate that. So if we could give them a round of applause.
I'll have you look at me and then I'll have you look at that.
Congratulations and thanks. Oh, gosh.
All right. I was looking at those flags when I stood up before, and I thought, those really don't belong behind anybody. Might make a nice picture, but I have to file a workers' comp claim.
One more down.
Okay. We had that caught on camera. You can watch the replay anytime you'd like. Great. I should have stayed over there, I knew it. Okay, we have for your consideration this evening the first reading of Ordinance 0126. This is an ordinance adopting and approving a change of concept development plan and a commercial 2 plan development, Houston Donaldson Overlay, C2 PD HDO District, for an approximate 1.1 acre site located at 7454 Turfway Road, Florence, Kentucky, to allow an approximate 675 square foot mural on one of the building facades and an appropriate 603 square foot mural on another building facade. This is the Spark by Hilton. The effect of the ordinance is to allow a change of concept development plan and a commercial 2 plan development Houston Donaldson Overlay C2 PD HDO District for this approximate 1.1 acre site located at 7454 Turfway Road, Florence, Kentucky, and to allow an approximate 675 square foot mural on one of the building facades and a 603 square foot mural on the other building facade. The full text of Ordinance 0126, including its exhibits, is available for examination in the office of the City Clerk, City of Florence, Kentucky, at the Florence Government Center, 8100 Ewing Boulevard, Florence, Kentucky, during regular office hours. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo?
Second.
Ms. Chambers? Questions or discussion? We did talk about this at the caucus meeting. Pat, do you want to touch on what this is?
I think I'll just very quickly, or Todd, do you have anything that you want to add to it? No? Okay. Well,
Slide is on the screen.
yeah, it was, there were only a few conditions that were added to this. One was that the dimensions be corrected on the size of the signs because they were a little off. Whenever we first looked at them, we realized that the sizes were wrong and they're actually a little smaller. The channel letter sign is on the south side of the building, and then also that the roof shingles would be gray instead of red. And I think those are already changed.
Correct.
Because it used to be a red roof in, and it's not anymore. So it's a Spark by Hilton now. They actually are in process now of remodeling the entire building. I actually drove back past the back of it, and you can see all the stuff back there, the, drywall and all kinds of things of equipment for the remodeling of every part of that building.
Any questions or discussion? Any other? We do have a motion and a second. Do a roll call vote, please.
Ms. Wingo?
Yes?
Ms. Chambers?
Yes.
Ms. Whalen?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Cable?
Yes.
Vice Mayor, motion passes 5-0.
Okey-doke. Next item on the agenda is the mayor's report. Your Christmas tree drop-off at Stringtown Park on Burlington Pike continues through Thursday of this week. They have to be dropped off by 5 o'clock. Please make sure all your tinsel, ornaments, ribbons, lights, and bags are removed prior to drop-off. I know if you've got old Christmas lights that don't work, there is a recycling program for those as well. I know there's a drop-off and has been at the libraries. I believe there's also one at the Boone County Public Works Building. Valentines for the troops. The city's once again collecting Valentine cards, handwritten letters, and notes to send to deployed troops on Valentine's Day. All items must be dropped off at the Government Center Administration Office by Friday, January 16th. If you need any more information, you can contact the Administration Department at 859-647-8177. That program's gotten a lot of good press, a lot of discussion about it. A lot of cards have been turned in from the different schools, and those will all be boxed up and mailed off to the active troops that represent us in the United States and wherever they may be serving. Government Center will be closed Monday, the 19th of January, in observation of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. You've also probably seen information about the Mayor's Academy. The City of Florence Administration Department is now accepting applications for the inaugural Mayor's Academy, a hands-on civic education program designed to provide residents, business owners, and community members with an inside look at local government operations. It's a 6-week program that meets on Thursdays from 6 to 8 o'clock, starting February the 12th and running through March the 19th, including direct engagement with the mayor and department heads, tours of city facilities, and an overview of daily municipal operations. Participation is limited, early application is encouraged, and those applications are available on the city's website. And if you need any more information on that, you can also contact the administration department at 859-647-8177. Those completed applications do need to be turned in to Melissa at the administration office. This is the third annual Books and Bottles, Books and Literacy Festival. Join us for our upcoming Book and Literacy Festival at the Florence Nature Park Event Center. That will take place February 27th from 6 to 8:30. The Friday evening event requires registration and will have light snacks and refreshments. Registration is available online through the city's website. Is there a fee to participate in that this year?
It's $10. So last year it was 15, they went back down to 10, but once you go into Evite, it's like $13 for your ticket with the service.
And then the festivities will continue regarding the literacy program on Saturday, the 28th of February from 10 to noon at the Florence Nature Park Event Center, featuring story time, a puppet show, and the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. If you want more information on that, you can contact Tina Benjamin, who's the Community Services Coordinator at 859-647-5425. Any department heads have anything they'd like to add? Mr. Hall?
Thank you. So I just want to update council as well as those in the public and watching. So a couple weeks ago, we had some discussion from some of our constituents from the Orleans area regarding the traffic and some things that we've been looking at, and just wanted to give a quick update on that. So since then, one of the things that was brought up in the meeting was studying the corridor more broadly and taking into account future growth. So we have met with Vioxx Bill himself and his team and started talking about what a study would look like and how we figure out what the future growth is going to look like and the impacts that that's going to have on Orleans Boulevard, Long Branch, so on and so forth. So that's the first thing we've got going. We've also met, myself and others from the leadership team here, with Judge Moore and his team regarding some improvements that can be done, one more short-term and another one would be more long-term. The short-term one is fixing and straightening out at the intersection there where it meets Long Branch, heading towards Orleans North. So we have got an estimate. It is currently getting under design, and we hope to have that started as soon as the construction season kind of shows itself here this year. So that's good news, and will hopefully relieve some of the pressure off of Orleans Boulevard. But truly, as we all know, the impact, we really need to work on upgrading and figuring out what Long Branch Road needs to look like in the future. So through that discussion with Judge Moore and his team, they have a consultant that they are utilizing. We met today. They are going to be designing or coming up with a strategy on how Long Branch Road can connect to US 42, most likely at the light there across from Kroger where it's existing, and seeing what that looks like. The goal is by end of February to have a plan that's pretty close to complete in regards to alignment and what that could look like, which then would allow us to work towards figuring out how we're going to fund it. So there's several different avenues that we would take, and we would partner, and whether that be through federal funds, state funds, partnership through their TID, our TID, things of that nature are some ways that hopefully we can skin that cat and complete that project. But just wanted to give council, as well as those that have been concerned about this, we hear you, and we're working towards a solution. And those three areas is where we're at right now. So as I learn more, I will provide more information on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Any other department heads have anything to add? Council members, Ms. Wingo.
You got ahead of me on the Christmas tree light recycling. I always look at that. There's also a spot at the Conservation District, which is the back side of the Extension Office, up off of 18. There's a big red bin back there. It's like a recycle bin, I guess, but it's painted red for Christmas lights. They're there at all three of the locations until February 1st. One more thing I want to mention, and we don't talk about this very much, but particularly with, campaign season is going to be starting pretty soon, and lots of people have signs that they put out. Our Public Services Department picked up over 3,500 signs in the public right-of-way this last year. That's 3,500 times somebody had to stop their vehicle, get out of it, pick up a sign, put it in the back, bring it back to the city building, where I don't know if all of them are held for 30 days, but I know some of the signs used to be, I don't know if they still are. Are any of them held still?
If it's a recurring, then we just throw them in the trash.
Okay, so your signs get thrown in the garbage, basically. So please, take into consideration, at least those people who are in the city area, those signs cost us a lot of money and time and effort for our staff to have to go out and pick up. So I don't think we think about it very often when we see all those signs stuck out there that say sale, 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 5 times in front of the same store, but they're all in the public right away. So just be a little more cognizant of that and maybe encourage folks not to do that so we can lessen the load on our Public Services Department. Thanks.
And there are some people that know exactly where that public right-of-way line is and will put the sign right behind it. I don't know about Jenny's mattress, but she seems to be one that knows exactly where to stick those signs so that they aren't in the public right-of-way. It is a full-time job, just picking those up. So if we can avoid contributing to that, make sure that you have permission from the property owner to place your sign, that would be helpful as well. So, thank you. Anybody else, council members? Angie?
Sorry, I feel like a broken record. You mentioned the TID board. Do we have an idea of what that looks like right now?
We do. So we have hired our TID project manager, just started last week. So her name is Amy Stewart. She was a grant coordinator for Continuing with Care. She did all the planning and strategic planning and dealing with stakeholders and so on and so forth. She has a history of raising over $50 million in grant funding from her prior employment, so we're excited to have her on. We have been working with, and I mentioned this in a prior meeting, but with a consultant that in Ohio really is kind of the expert in that area, and he's been helping us. We've got draft bylaws, so once the board gets established, we're working on getting board members figured out and where those, and fill in all those particular voids. Talk to Judge Moore, they have to present someone and place them on the board as well. So we're working on that. Tomorrow, myself, our new TID manager, and our superintendent will be heading to Louisville for the KBT conference, which is a transportation conference. We plan on meeting with several individuals within the state in order to make some connections, let them know what we're doing, and start trying to work towards acquiring funding as it relates to TID. So I know it feels like nothing has been happening, and maybe that's because I haven't talked about it enough, but it has not. It has been ongoing. We have been meeting multiple times, sometimes a week, trying to get this and do this right. Before we start getting things in place, we want to make sure that we do it right. And I've had a front row seat of watching Boone County, because I'm on that board as a non-voting member, and seeing them work through some things because they were the first in the state. So it has brought me some insight in some areas where I think, okay, let's not do that. Not that it was bad, it's just that it was new and they worked through it. So I think that's been helpful from that perspective as well. So it's moving, and it's going to start moving more once we get the board established. We can do nothing until the board is established because the board is the one who will ultimately present projects to this board, this council. So, but we are moving. We have hired a consultant, this was probably 6 months ago, to look at all intersections, all state roadways, evaluate them from a safety perspective, a congestion, so on and so forth. So we have a whole basically project list of areas that we've identified through that that will also be ranked and analyzed and see, okay, where do we want to start and what do we want to go after? And this group will be involved in those conversations. So here are our list of priority projects. Where do we want to start? Where do we want to go after funding? So a lot of legwork's been done, but we're just not at the place where I'm in front of you yet because the board has to be established. But
Well, thank you, I appreciate that.
yep, thank you.
I do have one other question, sorry. And maybe I haven't seen it. Do we have an idea of when the audit for the budget will take place?
I think right now we're looking at the end of January.
Thank you.
Do you think maybe Ms. Stewart could come to a council meeting and at least be introduced so that we have a face to go with the name?
Absolutely.
That'd be great, thank you. Anybody else on council?
Where are we at with our smart lights?
Boy, adaptive traffic signals. So that was a project we were awarded many years back, about $4.2 million. And we have been working through this process with KYTC, through submitting plans, through making revisions, going back and forth. We ran into some issues that really set us back because there were several traffic lights that were not even in the right-of-way, state right-of-way. And they looked at us and more or less said, okay, if you want to use that traffic light, then you need to, you got to pay for it. It's not on our property. Well, it's your traffic light. So I won't get into those details, but we were able to shift and find some additional ways to skin that particular cat. But I guess fast forward through this process, we have received approval for the encroachment permit, for the environmental. Our plans have been complete for a while, a long while. We are waiting on authorization from the state to release the funds to move forward. So as soon as we receive authorization from the state to free up that $4.2 million to do the project, we are ready to turn loose and put it out to bid. So at this point, that's what I know.
Anybody else? And I know it looks like things aren't moving. I know it looks like things aren't happening, and truly, there is so much that goes into making things work when you're dealing with the city, the state, the county, and the federal government. So he's right. The project for those traffic lights was approved 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, and it has been ongoing. So you run into one bump and you run into another bump and you work through it, and it's tough. So eventually, when the state gives us the okay and we can get the funds released, we will have those adaptive traffic lights. Anybody else on council? Anybody in the audience? Oh, Joe Clinton, Berkshire, come to the podium, please.
Well, it's always a pleasure, and now everybody's smiling. What the hell is that all about? I have an observation on our, whoops, they're gone, our public service people, and it's a little bit disturbing. They all had facial hair. Now, how are we going to get females there if they have to have facial hair? It's not going to work.
Just wait till they're over 65,
That could be,
45.
so I'm thinking maybe we need to work on getting some females, because I know some females that are tough as a $3 steak, so we could get some of them working too. It'd be scary. We got some? That's good. I'm proud of that. But tell them to skip the beard. So a couple of reasons I'm here, I had a meeting with Josh Hunt. It was really a great meeting. And we discussed things that I'd kind of been discussing for a while. And he's got most of them done, which I think is great. He's got the brush cut in the city's property. Amazingly, they started Monday and they're almost done on Tuesday, right before council meeting, which is timing. Timing's everything. And then my black grandson, Lisa's Tacos, he adopted me. I didn't adopt him. I got to keep reminding people of that. But they've got him settled over in a nice place. So Josh has been working, he's been working harder than an ugly stripper works. So, I mean, you have to admire that. Now, there's a couple of points that I got to bring up that we need to think about. The library at the main branch tomorrow night, 6:30, homeless situation. And it would be good if somebody showed up and did a little something, because I've kind of been trying to work on that. And the homeless thing is kind of the city's responsibility. It's like an unwed mother wakes up pregnant and looking for somebody who to blame, and you got to look at yourself. I mean, you know, that was some of her doings, I guess. It's not magic. So we need to show up for that. And then the library board has made a tremendous mistake. They're going to have the board meeting, the monthly board meeting at the Florence Library. Now, the problem is the timing. They're having it on Martin Luther King's birthday. Now, we know when you have something on a legal holiday, that just don't work. We get in all kinds of trouble. So it'd be good if people showed up to that too, because, and I worked on the homeless situation there. And it's tough. I mean, the city has to go and do something. And I've worked on getting the library cleaned up because it was a KOA for the homeless people. And the lady that's in charge of the library, I said, you know, you need the parking lights need to be on at night. The parking lot lights need to be on at night. She told me they were on a timer. I said, the time is they burned out. That's the reason they're on a timer. So we got that straightened up, and we got the benches fixed so they can't lay on them. And it's just been some good things. So it's next Monday at 4 o'clock. And I've been to several of them, and they're quite interesting, similar to this. And thanks. That's about all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else?
Yes.
Mr. Leach?
I don't know whether I should be scared or happy that you know my name. All right, for the record, my name is Jim Leach. I live on Harms Hill Drive. And boy, do I have some stuff for you tonight. For example, I went through 1,717 letters from code enforcement. Yes, it is possible, especially if you have SuperGrok to be able to do most of the monitoring. I found out things like, for example, we distributed 489 letters to tell people to cut the grass. I think we have a sergeant major out there that is just happy as heck that grass is cut in Florence. Another one is 333 unlicensed or disabled vehicles, or heaven forbid a trailer parked on people's property, when we only have 58 parking tickets across the city. I don't know about you, but I would think streets would be a higher priority than people's yards. We have 323 letters for the occupational licenses, as euphemistically called here, or income tax. Evidently, Florence has forgot about the U.S. mail. And I could go on and on here because I've got a top 19 and I've got more on an Excel spreadsheet. I was able to reverse engineer all the ordinance numbers, so I have a total of 9. One of those, 2422, was actually on the internet, so I was able to download that one. It actually had your signature on it, Madam Vice Mayor. And then, because of that information, I was able to do a triple dive and get the international ordinance of 2000. So we finally have ordinances that we can look at. It was kind of funny because 3812 here, the city actually called me and said, "Are you sure that one exists?" I'm like, well, I could have made a typo, so I checked and sent them letter 24/1976 with their paperwork showing that the ordinance actually does exist. So they had to look it up, and I guess they even had to go to a back safe to find it, I'm told. To give you an idea of the numbers here, here's a flow chart, or a bar chart. See, you have your parking tickets in the middle, you have your issued notices here, and an estimate over here, because I could have made a mistake on my math, but it's about 2,300 offenses here. And so that's a pretty great number compared to parking tickets, as you can see. My suggestion is that maybe we ought to have the code inspectors look for parking. This was priceless here. For example, Brandy located the missing pages to 01103 in the vault. My goodness, evidently they were locked up somewhere so the average citizen couldn't find them. Great. All right. And then we have stuff like this where, like I said, 24/1976, that ordinance does exist. And then we have 24/22. I still haven't figured out what it really says. I've even had SuperGrok go through it, and there's a whereas. I've had other people look at it, and they don't understand it. All I see is this signature at the bottom that says, approved by Mayor Diane Whalen.
I signed
Yes.
a lot of things for 24 years,
Oh, I'm
and
sure you did.
council voted, and they
When I
were
was a
approved.
company commander, I've signed all sorts of things too, and I'll be the first to admit, it was only a year, and I don't remember everything I signed, so I can understand, especially after 24 years. My hat's off that you haven't lost all your hair. You know. Now, I have this one that I call the Great Cable Caper. Can I call it that, Councilwoman Cable?
Sure.
Okay, all right. You know, I have a transcript of what Mr. Hall said on the 11th, that the code enforcement officers do not write codes. I get it, you're just following orders, just like the guys at Nuremberg. All right, now, they complete one route a month, and they go through the city probably once every 2 months, 6 times a year. Fourth officer delivers occupational notices instead of using the US mail. All right, now I have here the actual notices on Ridgeview. On the 23rd of April, 3 were issued, one to Councilwoman Cable's house. I was told that I could not find out the names of the people because they would be redacted. I can tell you exactly who they were. I don't want to name their names here because I'm really not here to dox anybody, but for example, on the top here, just using Ms. Cable's residence, it clearly has her husband's name and the address and everything. And I can go through, and there's more over here, like I've got one for a person named Santiago. So they are there, all right? We were told that would be redacted. Obviously, it has not been, okay? Now, on the 29th of October, when the caper started, that was when Ms. Cable's house was inspected and things were found wrong. The accusation was made that other people probably got inspected and they didn't say anything. Well, that's not true. Nobody else was inspected that day. There are no notices to that effect in the city record. Now, remember what I said earlier. Mr. Hall stated that it's only once every 2 months. Well, here we have the 14th of November, 2 residents were inspected, and then 2 weeks later on the 25th of November, 2 weeks were inspected. That's a good deal more than once every 2 months. So I don't know what's going on, but evidently somebody does not know what's going on. All right? Okay, now we talk about mistrust of government. When you see things like that, that definitely earns mistrust of government. So somebody needs to clean that up, all right? The city codes, in my opinion, are still hidden. Like I said, I had to do what I called a triple dive to get into that. I tried once, was told to go fish, so I got the codes instead, the letters, and got the codes that way. So I was able to produce them then, and then I found out about this International Code of Florence. Just crazy stuff, all right? So I can go through that. Now, as an example here of once every 2 months, I have my own street, Dillcrest. Okay, here we have 2 on the 24th, and then we have another one, or actually 3 on the 11th, and then after that, 3 more on the 30th. Again, more than once every 2 months. So there's definitely a problem here where people are not going through this. Again, I can go through and tell you the top 19 right now if you want to. I don't want to bore all your times, but I've got all of this, and evidently somebody does not know what's going on in his own city, because The ground truth facts with the documentation show something completely different. So I would suggest that you do some inspections and find out what's going on. I am going to give, with Ms. Chambers' permission, all of this stuff to her, if I can get through here. There, I got through. And that way she can look it over and act as a neutral third party. So, somebody can look at it. If you have any questions, Ms. Chambers, please feel free to call me.
Yes, sir.
I'll be more than happy to discuss it. So that's all I've got. In the meantime, good luck.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? If there's not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Ms. Wingo,
Second.
Ms. Chambers, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion, we're adjourned.